Right then, let's get going. My SD card just actually played up then, so I'm just going to see how far I can go without it playing up again. Right, let's go. When I pulled these cards out, I got the immediate feeling there was some distance between you, although there was like a promising start and then maybe some separation. You may work with this person, you may know them through work, or just some sort of practical situation where you have actually been in contact rather than like just an online conversation. I also got the feeling there was a strong pull, but almost like a playoff, almost like an impasse in some way. Is that the correct word? They're coming up as the Four of Swords, and this card, the Four of Swords here, is virtually it's a situation where you're almost against each other, one pushes and the other pulls. And it's probably the one that seems the more dominant is actually the less dominant. I'm not sure what I mean by that. I suppose I mean that probably the one with the more dominant personality is probably not the one that's pulling the strings in the relationship. Not so much pulling the strings as a negative, but actually, I suppose in all relationships, one seems to hold a little bit more sway than the other, and it passes back and forth. I know my dog's here. They're coming across also as Leo, so I think there's also a lot of pride and there's a lot of ego in this on both sides, I think, because you're coming across as the Sun as well. So they don't have to be a Leo, but I think there's the feeling I get from your cards and their cards is that there's pride and almost like a bit of a standoff, not an aggressive standoff, but a sort of waiting for the next move. Who's going to move first, because you don't want to look silly. You don't want to make the first move in case you look as if you... That's my dog, sorry. As if you care about the situation more than the other cares. If you know what I mean, there's that sort of not wanting to feel vulnerable from both sides. You're coming across as a very similar energy because you've got the Sun, so you're probably very warm, probably outgoing, and I think the other person probably is as well, but they're very protective of their ego, and you've got the fourth house here. So it feels as if, to me, the Sun is almost pulled into situations that you're familiar with. You're probably really good with your family, you're probably very open and friendly with people that you know that are close to you, but when it comes to relationships or when it comes to putting yourself out of your comfort zone, you almost waver a little bit. Because you've also got here the Eight of Swords, and traditionally the Eight of Swords is almost like a bound feeling of what I think is anxiety. And what we just said there, it's almost this person is pushing you out of your comfort zone slightly. And then what I mean by that is that they are calling on you to make the first move and then feel vulnerable because they don't want to, and vice versa. And I think it possibly passes back and forward with that. Right, I put these cards here in the middle for the situation from their perspective, and down the side here is what you've got at your disposal to communicate or to connect with this person. So how I think they see the situation is, I think they see the situation as you've both almost turned your backs on each other, and then there may be offerings, slight flirtings, some connections, but I think that either they're not acknowledging what they actually are, or you're not realizing what they're offering, or you just can't take up their offers. I'm getting the general feeling that there's distance between the pair of you, and there may be text messages, or there may be just some sort of communication in some way, perhaps having a meeting and you're not really sure whether it's just a meeting for meeting's sake or getting together as friends. So that's why I don't think it's quite moving the way that you want it to. But I do think in the background, or in the past, sorry, you've got background. I don't know what that was. You've got an almost sexual undertone to the relationship, but it's to me this feels like a exciting, sexy feeling. When you meet somebody and you're really struck by them, because the Ace of Wands I think is sexual, and the Fool is exciting. It's like a new beginning, it's a new start, and there's a sexual undertone to it. So when you see somebody and it doesn't happen every day and you really are attracted to them, that's what I think has happened. So this is from this is how they see the situation. This is how they feel about you. they recognise the attraction and they feel it and it's exciting to them, but I think they feel with these cards up here that they're on shaky ground, and it's mainly with their ego. They're too afraid to step out of their comfort zone in case they get hurt. Either you're a mother or you're creative, or they just see you as somebody who's quite laid back in a sexy, beautiful way. I've used sexy twice here because that's the feeling I get with the Ace of Wands at the back. So you may work with this person and you may be a mother. You may just work in the creative industry, or you just may be one of those people that dress really well. You put your clothes together well and you have that sexy walk and that sexy aura and that feeling at home in your body. But there's some sort of physical connection here, as in like mundane connection, that's every day. To me, it feels as if you may possibly work together, or your situation is in the process of slowly, practically getting together. So you may have seen each other, felt an immediate attraction, and there's been some sort of small steps, not so much it doesn't speak to me, if you don't work with this person, it doesn't speak to me of somebody that has had a drunken night out and a sexual encounter. It's somebody who is tiptoeing towards the other person. This is how they see the situation. They are either working with you and your mother, they either know you from some sort of practical reason and they find you extremely attractive because you've got that laid back sexiness about you, or they're just making little steps and trying to get to know you in some practical way. Right, I think you feel the relationship is over because you're coming across as the world, and that to me feels almost, with these cards that we've got here, as a completion. Especially with this, like, you're offering things and nothing's being taken up and your back's turned towards the person. And they also, I think the same. I don't think that you are with this person at the moment, or the communication isn't that good, and that's how you feel and that's how they see it too. Let me put some extra cards on why they're coming across as the Tower. Okay, I'm not gonna think too much about this. I'm just gonna say it as it is. I try and overthink things a little bit too much, so I don't actually say something really hurtful. But sometimes if I can't think of anything else, I'm just gonna go through it and start talking and hope that I'm not insulting anybody. Oh, my dog. They're coming up as a Tower, so in some way, shape or form, they feel as if the relationship or your situation has been turned upside down, and it's normally in terms of the ego, so something that they've thought or built up, or the way that they see the situation and themselves in the situation has been almost turned on its head. And the reason for this is almost like a fighting, defensive feeling over something new that has happened. Some energy has come into the situation. It's almost, I would say, causing a bit of defensiveness, a bit of angst, a bit of them putting their guard up. And I don't know what I mean by that. So I'm just going to leave that as that for the moment. I do think there is a really strong, practical, mature backdrop to the situation. And that's why I keep thinking about work. So hopes and wishes are for a feeling of everything being okay, without fighting, with still the attraction, but in a more composed way in some way. Your relationship, they feel, needs to be a little bit more composed. They don't want to be taken up some alley and have all their emotions exploding, and they don't want it to. I think your person is quite practical. Do you know, it's really weird that, oh no, I won't say it. I think your person is quite practical. I think they like things set out in front of them, and I think they're feeling uncomfortable by the sexual attraction. I think they're feeling quite uncomfortable. I don't know whether the situation is out of the attraction is out of place, and if you're in a workplace in some way, shape, or form. But I do think that they are somebody who likes to feel in control. They're somebody who doesn't like to run away with flights of fancy or huge feelings of passion. And I think that you may have given them these feelings of passion with the Fool and with the Ace of Wands behind. I keep swapping these around, but I don't think there's much contact between you at the moment. Right, and the end situation, the way that they see it is their best hopes for this situation, there's two things I can see here. Their best hopes for this situation are a feeling of security with you, a feeling that everything's okay and that they are more in control, because they're coming up as here they come up. How they see it is that's in the future, in the immediate future, just working together or practically just getting a little bit closer, not in a sexual way or not in a fantasy way, just basically doing things together. And then the end result comes up as the Ten of Pentacles. So I think what they would like from you is to feel calm and feel collected in some way, because at the moment they are almost, with these cards here, the Leo and this sort of fighting against each other, Five of Swords, they want to feel connected but not out of control. With a Magician, they want to be able to think that they can. I wonder if your person's quite controlling. There's no, yeah, there is an Emperor card here. I was going to say there's no Emperor card here, but yes there is. I wonder whether, not in a sort of bossy way, but in a sort of way that they like to feel as if everything's normal in their life and they like to be able to be the one that makes the next move. And at the moment, with the Devil card here, I wonder whether they're feeling slightly out of control. Whether they're slightly, I don't want to keep using the word obsessed, but there's this slight obsession there or something. Right, okay. Right, so how can you connect and attract this person? For communication, I put this up as the air power. So this is the Ten of Pentacles here. So this is exactly what we're saying at the end of the situation here. I think they were looking at you to make them feel secure. I don't think this person really likes to feel out of control at all. So they're looking at you to communicate with them in a mature way, not with too much sexual pull, not with too flirty, but just basically to be there to be in a situation and just connect. So I'm wondering whether your person is quite Virgo. Well, they don't have to have Virgo in them, but it's, this to me screams of somebody who doesn't like anything over sexual, anything out of control. They like things just to be so, and they just want a really good connection. Somebody they can work with, somebody they can grow with, somebody they can go out with a coffee with without knowing that you're running around there and going, yay, they called me. You know, that sort of feeling. Which you can do that, but you mustn't show it possibly. I don't know. They don't want anybody, I'm going to say infatuated or childlike, you know, which is great fun, but I don't think they will. You can be that, but don't let them see that. And almost be a little bit blasé about your communication with them, but be there and be solid. And the way that they want you to connect emotionally with them is almost the same. It's a feeling of that you've healed, that you are not, if you've ever had some sort of angst, which I'm picking up slightly with this, it's almost as if they want to know that, you know, you're just cool with the situation. It's almost as if you've healed yourself, you're not bothered, you're getting on with your own life. This has a really independent feel about it. I think this person is attracted to independence and calmness. I'm thinking of my husband doing this. It's like Dr. Spock. It is like Dr. Spock. This person wants everything to be normal. It wouldn't surprise me if their mother is somebody who's very grounded, somebody who's always there and very practical, but doesn't have outbursts of emotions or outbursts of passion. Not that, I know it's a child-mother relationship, but do you know what I mean? There's not that sort of up in the air, feisty. I was going to say something really racist then. I'm thinking Italian feel to it, because I don't know why. We don't know that many Italians, but when you're portrayed on TV, this is so stereotypical. It's always like passionate and we're just having like feisty conversations. Sorry if that is racist. Please excuse me. That is very stereotypical, but really interesting to me. And I know that's not true, but that's the sort of. You're watching The Godfather and there's a lot of passion in there, isn't there? Is it the only Italian film I can go no? Right, then let's go on to fire. Right, once again, the fire. The fire that they want from you, the sexual pull, the sexual energy they want from you is, oh my God, it's the sun. I was going to say the star. Right, okay, that changes it a bit. So you have got the sun, they have got the sun, and I thought this was the star. That looks like a star to me. They actually... Right, okay. I can't go back on this practical energy because it's so obvious. You've got Pentacles, 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 but then for fire, so that sexual feeling that they want, that passion, the way that you show up in life and the way that you act out in life, they still want to see that you're Leo and you're Sun sign. They want, not that does it really matter what they really want to see, you've just got to be who you are, but they want to see warmth. They want you to show your warmth and your passion for life and the way that you move forward with life and the way that you include people, and you've got to carry on with that. If that's the way that you are, then you need to keep that going. If that, for yourself basically, not for them, which is just it's a fun read, isn't it? I think you show up in life as somebody quite expansive. You're probably quite magnanimous in some way. That's hard to say. Quite regal bearing, especially with this Empress here. You're coming across as really somebody who has a lot of eyes on them and somebody who knows it and is really calm with it without being vain. You're probably very attractive and probably a lot of people are drawn towards you, but you have this sort of motherly bearing about you, which is as if you're in control of the world and as if you know what's going on and nobody else does. You're the type of person that gives the impression that, when you go into like a new city or a new town, there's always somebody there that knows where everything is, where the best bars are, where the best clubs are. You've got that feeling of, when you're probably the type of man or woman that when you go to, when I was younger, when you go out clubbing and you're somewhere and everybody looks really good, and then this person walks in and they get in through the bouncers without even having to pay, and you're thinking, well, that's not fair. I wonder if that's you, because that's the feeling I'm getting from you, and you need to carry on that. Don't downplay who you are to this person whatsoever. You can be a little bit more controlled, because I think they quite like control. If that's what you want to do, this is basically you playing to be what they want to see. And I don't really advise that. I'm just doing it for a bit of fun, because you're coming across here as the sun. You come across, but you both are. So don't downplay your greatness at all. And for your last card here, you've got how to act in everyday life. So this is like practical. This is Earth. You've got the Emperor, and with the Sun, you have got to be who you are, because you are somebody who stands on their own 2 feet. And I think you work really hard to get there. You've had to have control in your life. You've had to organise things, and you've done a really cracking job of it. And I think you don't downplay that whatsoever. Don't downplay that whatsoever. The only thing I would say about this person is I do get the feeling that they feel slightly threatened. The attraction is there, and I don't think they know how to deal with it. They're trying to control it. This person, I feel, needs control. They like to be the one that makes the move first. And sometimes, men and women often like to feel as if they're in control. So I wonder whether this is what's happening with your person. Right, I'm going to sum this up. I think that you are somebody who has a lot of passion, a lot of power, and it's almost bubbling under the surface. You are warm and expansive and childlike and spontaneous, and don't ever change that. And it's coming a lot from possibly something to do with your home life. Perhaps you've got a very good relationship with siblings. Or you're just very grounded. Your fourth house, you just be very grounded. You just have a childhood that makes you feel as if you can be who you want to be. That's not going to apply to everybody. And they're coming across as very similar to you, so there's probably that sort of mirroring going on, but with both of you, there's an undersurface fight going on where who's going to make the first move, who's going to appear more vulnerable. There's passion behind you, but there's basically nothing happening at the moment. They see you as extremely attractive. You may be a parent, but you're coming across as the Empress here, which is basically, if you're not a parent, it's just somebody that's very easy in their own body, somebody who's beautiful and relaxed and is just happy with that. The connection could be work, or if it's not a work connection, they are making, or they want to make small steps towards you, or that's all they've managed to do so far. Both of you, I feel, think their relationship is over. There's a defensiveness there, but there's also a feeling of excitement which is behind you because you've got the full twice of a new beginning, a passionate new beginning. They're trying to be level-headed about this, and I think ultimately what they want the relationship to be is a mature relationship where they feel that they're not obsessed or obsessing or it's too sexual. They have that practical need to feel as if they're in control and that it's a normal situation. You can do that because you're coming across, you can communicate in a way that makes them feel comfortable without being too spontaneous, without being too sexual, which is, I think, frightens them a little bit. Not because of you, because you shouldn't change who you are so whatsoever, because I think that you have things to possibly teach them on how to communicate openly. But because I think that they feel I think they want to take the lead. I think with regards to you, emotionally, just take a step back, become a little bit more detached, but just carry on carrying yourself in your everyday life with your openness and your warmth and the way that you have built yourself up over your life with your control and the way that you do that. And it's almost like a regal bearing. So don't ever put yourself down and think that you need to get hold of this person to be who you want to be, because I think you're coming out as a complete star here. And I know this is the Sun, and I know it tricked me, but you are coming out with the Emperor and the Sun as somebody who has a big input and impact on life. Even if you are a mother, that is possibly part of your whole energy. Right, I'm going to end there because I'm going to end on that note, because don't change a thing about yourself. Just hold yourself back a bit and let this person, if it's a man, make them feel like they want to show up as a more assertive one. And it may mean pulling back a little bit, and if they're female, same thing applies. This person wants to be the one that does the next move. Right, pile number 1, I'm going to finish there. I hope that makes sense to you in some way. And I hope my SD card's going. Right, I hope that makes sense to you, and thank you ever so much for joining me today, and please join me again. Bye.
La música de Harry Fraud.
Hi there, pile number 2, right. How can you connect or attract this person? Before I start the reading, and I said it in the last reading, I don't really ever think it's a good idea to try and change yourself for somebody else. Just be yourself, but let's try and see if we can pull out a little bit of information which might ring true about your relationship and how they see it, and ways that you could possibly just pull out the best parts of yourself. You don't want to change yourself for anybody, but let's get going. Right, you're coming across as the strength of Vesta in the 8th house. So to me, I think that you, Vesta to me is somebody. The best explanation I ever heard of Vesta, I did actually say this in a video a couple of weeks back, but it cut off right in the middle of it, so I just left it. It was women who, basically the myth or the legend or whatever it is, goes with women who were like priestesses in some way. That they were sort of taken into some temple and they worked towards some religious ideal. And this part of this idea was to heal, and what they actually did, I'm not saying this is true, this is just what I've heard and I liked. What they actually did was that the soldiers that went to war and were basically PTSD, basically, I suppose, but don't expect that term was around then. They healed them. They made them feel that life was worth living again and that life was softer, and they showed them the more feminine qualities in themselves and basically healed them, so that they could function in everyday life and be introduced back into community without the anger and without the trauma. So to me, that's what I think of when I see Vesta. It's like, it's meant to mean the fire inside yourself that burns continually and how you use it. So I have a feeling whether men or women are drawn to you because you have a regal bearing, but almost in the warmth and the healing sort of way. You've got 8th house here as well. To me, it's almost like this all pulled together. The 8th house is it's things below the surface in this situation. I think you're very good at using your passion and your fire and your warmth to read people, what's going on below the surface. Okay, sorry, the camera switches off every half hour. I don't think your person, I haven't looked at these properly yet, likes being overwhelmed by passion, very much like Power 1. I don't think your person likes too much fantasy. I don't think they like to be led up a merry path. I think they basically like somebody solid and who's there and in front of them, not some sort of distant fantasy. Did I just say that? Right, let's have a look at this, how they see the connection. So this is how they see the connection and how, what you can bring to it to get what you, this sounds really awful, manipulative, but what you want out of it. So we're just playing with this at the moment. So just pick out the bits that ring true and see if they, if it makes you feel like it's right for you. So the Sun, they feel good around you. They feel that the relationship is positive and you make them feel happy. You make them feel like a kid. You make them feel like they want to go out and have fun with you. I think you are very open and very truthful with you, and there's nothing hidden. There's nothing hidden in the attraction between the pair of you. Although I think it's a bit of a mix, stop and go here. But what I think might have happened at the moment is let me have a look at the other cards. They may have almost, okay, this makes sense. You've got the Hermit, they've got the Hermit, the way they see the situation. So the attraction is there. I think you're very open because you're coming across with these cards here. I think their ego is very Virgo. I think they're very humble. See, this person is not going to be won by flattery. This person is not going to be won by words with no action behind them. They're coming across as the Hermit, 5 of Pentacles, where they see the situation, and Virgo. So you need to make real practical steps. Be there, offer to help them with something. Don't go there and start giggling and laughing and smiling and flirting, because I don't know if this will work with this person. Hold on, I'm going to read this in a minute. But they've almost pulled back into themselves, I think, and are stewing over the situation. I think they may have quite humble self-esteem. I'm not going to say lacking self-esteem, but I think that there's been movement towards each other and then almost pulling away, as in they're not sure whether you're interested, because you've got the 4 of Cups behind you here, but the Chariot. So there's passion, there's movement, but then it's almost not worked. I wonder if they've made a move towards you and they don't feel that it's reciprocated in some way. Yeah, this is how they see the situation. They've got Two of Cups is for hopes and fears. So they are hoping that there's a mutual exchange of affection and emotions. Two of Cups is my favourite card. To me, it's better than Lovers. I don't even know why. I think because it speaks to me of something that's actually happening rather than some sort of idea. And then you can almost pick up what's happening from the cards around it. So with this, you've got the Two of Cups here. So they are basically seeing you as ideal mate, and they think that you think the same. So I don't think you're trying to hide it because you've got the Sun. But the Four of Cups here is almost as if they feel like whatever their feelings are, I know feelings can't be heard, they possibly can, but it's falling on deaf ears. They're almost pouring their affection on you, and I don't think they're getting back what they are hoping for. They're not getting back because their ego is slightly wavery, which I think with the Virgo, egos are always wavery. They're not really a huge ego. Oh, I can't think of the word. Egotistical, I suppose. They're not a hugely egotistical person. I'm making this up. Egotistical. I can't say egoist. And because I wasn't sure they'd fit in. Anyway, they haven't got big ego. But they're seeing you as the Queen of Cups. So you possibly could have a child. You could be either just very mothering or very nurturing, which could very much go with your Strength card here. You could be just somebody who's very good at pulling people close and healing them. You know, of course, I've seen it here again as I'm saying it. So you have that sort of mothering, nurturing quality about you. And I think they almost feel as if the attraction's quite strong. It's not something they're used to. They're not used to be bowled off their feet by attraction. So they're almost trying to level it out in their head and come across quite practical. Because they're not sure whether their attraction is going to be reciprocated. Two of Cups. Yeah, they might feel it's reciprocated, but you have got the Five of Pentacles here. So if they do feel that, then it's their self-confidence which is making them feel as if they're not close enough to you as they'd like to be. I'm wondering, with you coming across here as the Queen of Swords, and I'm reading the card as well, and the female lion has got her paw on the male lion. So I wonder whether you are they're coming across as a Virgo, which is quite, I always feel, they're stubborn but submissive in some way. Not in a bad way, but in a way that they don't have the big ego that we've talked about. You're coming across as Strength here. So you're coming across... No. There's definitely a connection here. It's got to be. I'm talking about egos, and I'm talking about them seeing you as beautiful, but almost as if the movement's not getting where they want to be. And then there's the Two of Cups here, which makes me think that the feelings are reciprocated. And then I've gone down to this to look at you, and my eyes have shot straight up here to the Strength card. And I was just about to say that the female lion has the paw, is basically got the male lion under the thumb. So I don't know whether sex applies in this or not. And then I look at, it could be a man having a reading. So if you're the man having the reading, this very much could apply. If it's a female having the reading, or, female energy that you are coming across as in your relationship, I can't really say here, because I was just about to say it's the female energy that seems to be the little bit more domineering. But all I can say here is I'm not really sure about who's who, that there possibly could be an imbalance here on who's submissive and who's dominant, which can change in relationships. I'll read more as I go along. At the moment I'm thinking you are more dominant, because this, to me, they don't speak of dominance. And what's happening is they're coming across as Ten of Cups. So I think that there's somebody who's quite content in themselves. They basically possibly have a laid-back attitude. They could be very much a family person. You could both be family people, and take that as it applies. I don't know whether you already have established families, or whether it's just something that you're both really comfortable with. I think this person has really soft emotions, but they don't feel, with the Five of Pentacles and the Four of Cups behind, they don't feel it as if whatever progress has been made with you is on solid ground, as if they could have that things could be pulled away from them. They could feel as if they feel vulnerable and open. They may be quite shy. And the end card is the Moon, which basically just says the same thing again. It's confusion. They don't know where they stand. You know, you've got these behind you. It's the Moon is confusion. Just they're not really sure where they stand at all, because you've got the Chariot behind, which is like forward movement and drive and possibly passion. I mean, the horse is a passionate animal. It's Sagittarius. There's card for Sagittarius, and they're basically Sagittarius ruled by their groin. They're on their higher mind, of course, but they are definitely very sexual. And the Four of Cups here is not really sure how they see the situations. Whatever they offer emotionally will be actually taken up. So let's have a look at how you can manipulate the whole situation. Well, not really. Let's just have a look and play with this. So air-wise, you're coming across as somebody who you may see this person in groups. And I think that possibly could be the way forward with you. The Five of Wands is typically somebody who, it's like a sparring card, it's like a competition, it's like movement. So I think for you, if you want to get close to this person, don't change who you are, but possibly make sure that you know, if you share passions or some sort of pull, something that you do, some sort of hobby or some way that you spend your evenings, I don't know, like dancing or clubs or drinking coffee or anything, then I would suggest to make sure that you take up this new hobby. Because with the Five of Wands, to me, with this, feels like this person is very Virgo. You need to be where they are and show interest in what they're doing. Not in a creepy way, but in a way, just if it's something that appeals to you, just go and enjoy yourself. Don't move towards them in some sort of overzealous, stalky way, but just be there, enjoy yourself, get stuck in. The Virgo wants somebody who is next to them and working with them. They don't want to be overwhelmed by thoughts and passion. They want life to be lived, and they want it to be even keel living. So just go and do it. If they like windsurfing, go windsurfing. With all that Virgo there, they might like embroidery. No, I'm just joking. Virgo do like details though. They like to do things that are very detailed, but it's probably, it could be car mechanics, anything. Some sort of, they like to do something that is mechanical or involves small details or intricate, like I'm even going to say something like watchmaking, like making watches or fixing watches. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's what they do like doing. I've got Virgo, my nan's a Virgo, and she said when she was a kid she used to like line buttons up. They like to organise things, make lists, they love it. Right, okay, now water wise, so this is emotionally, so how to emotionally get close to this person is to don't be too forward, put out something, you can contact them, but then sit back and wait for them to come to you. If this is Virgo energy and them being slightly vulnerable in some way, and you're coming across quite aware and quite a strong personality in a nice way, I think that you could make a move, but it would have to be some sort of small move and wait for them to come back, rather than going in and declaring your undying love and jumping on them. So you could put something out, put your feelers out, put some sort of situation, some sort of practical offer out, let's get together, do this, and then wait to see what happens. Not like, you didn't text me back within half an hour, just play it cool. Right, I do think though, this is like, for me this is the fire, and the Two of Pentacles for fire is like passion and movement is, to me I can only think, this card does not look like it at all, but to me is playful. Either be playful or to take this exactly as it is, to read the card is, you could even offer to go and offer them to come and watch a film, offer for them to go out to the cinema and do something, with, I'm just thinking film, cinema, that's what, that is, looks like a cinema reel to me. make a whole evening out of it. You've got the bag packed here, you've got pentacles here, go out for some food, just offer for them to have a night out, something really sort of regular. Go out, have some food, watch a film. Suffocate in your mask while you're watching it. That's not very romantic, is it, wearing masks? Okay. And then your final one is Earth. So, Earth. That's okay. Yeah. To me, it's movement. It's, Earth, lovers. Just be romantic. Be romantic. Be there. Be next to them. Keep your heart open for them, and know that there is the possibility of a relationship here, but you've got to nurture their confidence in some way, because they're not sure where they stand with you. You've got the Moon, you've got the Four of Cups, you've got the Five of Pentacles here, so it's confusion, it's illusion, them not knowing where they are, them finding you extremely attractive, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-worth. You probably been a little bit more domineering in some way. They can feel the connection. So you need to basically just go out and do something really Virgo with them. Even if they're not Virgo, just be grounded and normal and go and say, hey, we can go out in a group, because this could be a group situation. But just put your feelers out. You could email, text them, do you fancy, make it fun, make it playful, but show them there's a connection there. Because you've got the Lovers and you've got the Two of Cups. They know it, you know it. So go out in a group. Do something really sort of mundane, everyday things, which actually isn't mundane to me, it's quite exciting. Just go out for a meal, watch a movie, and connect with them. And connect with them in a very normal way. Don't jump on this person, because they'll probably cry. No, they'll probably, that's not what's needed at the moment. The need is to connect in a common sense way. I hope that's not too dull for you, pile number 2, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to finish you there, so let me know how you get on. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you again, hopefully. Bye. Hi there, pile number 3. Right, this is a mixture of energies here, but I'm going to go through it bit by bit and see if it applies to you. So I know the title is How to Connect with Somebody, and I honestly think that you should never really change who you are too much, because you can't keep it up forever and it's absolutely exhausting. So just be yourself. It's just a little fun read just to see if there's anything in here that you can pick out that you think, yeah, that rings true, so I might try that tact. Right, you're coming across as somebody who is incredibly intuitive. I said it, I have such difficulty with that word, and the more I think about it, the worse it gets. I think you're somebody who's quite emotional, somebody who's quite mutable in the fact that you could change your mind quite often. I think that you're very much aware of people's energies, and I think that sometimes you become overwhelmed. It's got a Pisces feel about this. You've got 12th house, you've got Palace, and you've got the 10 of Cups. So it's definitely watery. If this isn't you, if you don't have that feeling of sometimes being overwhelmed by your emotions, if you're a very practical person, this may not be the reading for you, because that's quite strong. You may be very creative, you may work in some way with art or with your dreams, or just basically really good at digging in your mind and pulling out information that nobody else seems to have access to. I think you're very gentle, and I think you're very giving. I think that children are probably drawn to you. I think you cry easily. I think you're the type of person that wails at sad parts in, I'm going to say Wales because I can see them there, but actually with a different spelling, at sad parts in films. So this is you, these are the whales, and this. And I say every time this card comes up, I don't actually know the true meaning of Palace, but I know what it means to me. It's somebody or something that recognises patterns and movement. So to me, it's almost accessing parts of, you see patterns in people, you see patterns in situations, you probably see patterns in your dreams. I think that you're probably very psychic. You may not even acknowledge that, but I think that's the way you've probably always worked, and you don't even know where you've got that information from. So that's how you're coming across. Compassionate, caring, dreamy, and aware of other people. And I wonder whether you find it quite painful to function in everyday life almost as if you have your skin pulled off sometimes. I can mention this to my sister when we were kids. Sometimes it can feel with too much Neptune as if you've got your skin pulled off and your nerves are exposed. Because you just feel so vulnerable, and you feel like you suck up everybody else's energy and then react to it rather than act yourself from where you're coming from inside. Right, your person's coming across as quite soft as well with the Libra card here. So there's some similarity there. And Libra can be quite giving. They're more mental, but they're definitely quite gentle in their approach. They can be quite forthright at times in some ways where they like to lead. But the Three of Swords here makes me think that your person's going through some sort of trauma or some sort of hurt. I don't know whether this has anything to do with you or whether it's their life in general, because the first card that comes up in the situation with regards to you is the Death card with regards to how they see the situation. But I'm going to go through that now to see how things turn out. Right, they, I think, they're coming across of hopes and fears, and the way that they feel this connection is, or it's moving, the Hermit and the Magician. So I wonder whether they're maybe pulled out of the situation at the moment, or they're just almost overexerting themselves in how to move forward with you. Because there is a forward movement. There is definitely movement, and it's forward in this pile, because you've got the Eight of Wands at the end of the Chariot. So, and I think at the moment, to me, this is what it feels like. I feel the situation has ended and then rebooted. They've got the Hermit and the Magician here. So the Magician wants to make something happen, and they know how to do it. And I don't even think they know how they do it. They're just somebody who feels straight, thinks straight, acts straight, and then it basically all falls into their path, if you know what I mean. And they've done it naturally, but they don't know how it happens. Possibly. And you've got the Hermit, who's mentally very good at looking inside themselves, sorting themselves out, taking time out and knowing what they want out of life, and then basically how to get it. So your person sees this situation, to me, as potential. Huge potential. I think there has been some change in the situation, and I wonder whether your person is trying to take a more practical and reserved approach to it, which would go with the Magician and the Hermit card. Because to me, the Magician card is trying to make something happen, doesn't actually mean movement, and the Hermit card to me is pulling back and still trying to make things happen, but it's more internal. That's the feeling I'm getting from those. And then the King of Pentacles card is quite a mature card. It feels to me as if the situation has come to some full stop, and you may be looking at these cards now because it's just about to reboot or has rebooted. Oh, hello. What are you doing? You're a good girl. Oh no. You Ewas? Excuse me, I'm just taking dog for a way back in a sec. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Right, so the feeling, I'm going to start again very quickly just to sum up, just to get myself back in on it. So you've got the Death card here. So I think the situation may have ended. This person is trying to look at it practically in a more mature way. They feel as if there may have been some sort of need to hold back in the past, but they're trying to get things rebooted. That's where we ended. I don't know whether they've got a child, or whether they've got children. That's part of the whole situation between the pair of you, or whether you have a child, because you've got two pages here. But I'm also thinking as well with the cards like the Magician and the Hermit, whether they are making it real or manifesting some situation, small situation, to get yourself started again, to get yourself going. So some sort of movement, some sort of practical offer or movement towards you. Because the reason I'm saying that is if it's not children in the relationship, you've got the World card here, which with the death card speaks of completion, but I put 2 extra cards on this just to see, because this is in the future, so this is like almost immediate future. And with the Page of Wands, which is a small, I would say new beginning, some small offer of doing something action orientated possibly. But you've got the Ace of Rods, like I say wands, can't get the words out, or the Ace of Pentacles. Excuse me, sorry, I'll take the dog for a wee and just getting it together again. Ace of Wands, Ace of Pentacles. So with the World card here, making me feel that the whole relationship has gone some sort of cycle. There's now some sort of new beginning. And it's not small. It may start off small, but I think it's going to be a important new beginning. You're coming across as the 6 of Cups here, which just goes so well with your cards of the 10 of Cups and the 12th house. So I think you are somebody who's very watery. I think you're very emotional, and I think you're quite nostalgic, and there could possibly be either this person may remind you of somebody from your youth, or somebody you're attracted to, or so there's just a connection there that may feel like home, or just familiarity. You've got this really sort of warm, loving vibe about you, or just that need for it. You could be Cancer. You could just some watery feeling to you that makes you feel like you need an emotional connection. Now this person is coming across as the Page of Pentacles. So I don't know whether they're tiptoeing towards you in some sort of practical way. I do get the feeling that the relationship has ended and they are trying to find some way to restart it. And with 2 pages, if there aren't children involved in this relationship between the pair of you, whether one of you has kids or just one has kids, it just speaks of somebody trying to give you little nuggets to get you going. And then with these, it's almost as if you wipe the slate clean again and then restart with these two cards here. So this is like a full circle, and this is like new beginnings. And the end result is quite passionate, really. 8 of Wands is sexual. To me, it feels sexual. It's like the arrows of, is it Cupid? It's movement. It's fast, and it's sensual, or not sensual. I'm lying there. Sexual, and the Chariot is driven again. So, and the Queen of Wands. To me, they're feisty cards. So, if your relationship has been a little bit slow moving, and whether you've just been basically being offered bits and bobs. I still think this person is going to offer you bits and bobs, but I think it's going to take off. This is how they're seeing the relationship. So, okay. They see the relationship as them trying really hard to look like they're not interested. The relationship might have ended. They're trying to be really mature and practical. They're overthinking it, but in a good way, that they're actually working out who they want to be in the situation and where they want it to go. They're very good at making things become real in the world. So that's the tack that they're taking. They're going to, this is what they're thinking and how they see it. They may have already offered you some sort of small connection, or there may be some children involved. It's the type of thing that they possibly, if there are children involved, they could have said, let's get the kids together to take them out. Or if not that, the Page of Wands, Page of Pentacles are small movements towards you. Not hugely passionate, but just there, and it's definitely forward movement. And then you've got almost, if the relationship possibly has gone a whole circle and kick-starts because you've got 2 aces, you're feeling romantically in love, because I think you feel like this person has some sort of connection. Could even be with you, with the 12th house and the 10 of Cups, like a past life connection. There could be some nodal contacts there, but there's definitely some recognition this person feels right for you, or you feel comfortable together. And how they see this relationship is going to be movement and passion. Right, for you to make the most of this situation, you're going to find this easy. For the Air card, which to me is how to communicate, you just basically be yourself, because you've got the Ace of Cups here, and I think you don't have any trouble opening up emotionally. I think just be yourself, be open, be loving, be caring, and be honest, and just show what you feel and how you feel. And that might make you feel vulnerable, but just do it in a way that you feel comfortable. Because I think it's something you're really good at. I don't think you're somebody who likes cold relationships. You you need somebody to reciprocate that. You need somebody to give the warmth back, and this person may actually be giving you passion back. But I don't think for you to show your feelings would be wrong. Because I think this person's if your person's coming across as a relationship card like Libra, and then you've got the Three of Swords, I wonder whether they've got the Three of Swords, whether your relationship has ended in the past and is now coming back into fruition in some way, and it's going to move quite fast. And that's the way that they're seeing it. It may have ended and they want it to restart. And you're almost with these like watery cards here, just seeing what happens. You're not playing an active part in this. You're just watching and waiting, but it is going to reboot, and I think it's going to be quite forward moving in a fast way and quite passionate. So how to connect with this person is just be yourself. Ace of Pentacles for the way that Ace of Cups for the way that you communicate is emotion anyway. So just be yourself, be open, be loving, be kind. Right, and then for water here, which is you've got the Knave of Swords. So the swords contradicts this in some way. So the swords are quite straightforward and no nonsense and not over emotional. So I think just be yourself, but don't overdo it. Don't do, be open, be kind, be loving, show your feelings, but don't do the wailing and throwing yourself down the stairs. That sort of crossing that line. Just be yourself. Don't be too emotional, but be yourself. Don't say I really missed you and start all this. I don't know if that person Libra there, they're quite airy as well. So I think my guess is by reading these cards that I think that they admire the way that you are emotional and open, but I think that it could overwhelm them, because I wonder if they're the same as you. So if you are that way inclined, be yourself, because it's probably extremely attractive to them, because they may not like that themselves, but there's only so much they can take. If this rings true, that you've got to show who you are, but without overdoing it. Because I don't know if they could cope with, real heavy displays of emotion. Right, okay, and fire to me is like sex and passion is basically... Do you know what I was going to say then? It says death here. Oh, I can't, no. Anyway, I'm just thinking, do you remember that? I don't know if you know the film with Big Mama, and she just give her morning, noon and night. That's what came into my head. But I'm not actually saying that at all. I don't know why that came into my head. Because the death card here is really... I think basically, I'm trying to get away from what I've just said then, I'm blank. What was I going to say? I've forgotten what I was going to say. Right, okay, let's go back. The fire is passion, and it's forward moving, and it's action. So death is to change, because I think your situation here is changed from ending to moving forward. Death and the World card is just basically an ending and a recycling. So I think that you've got to accept that here. You've got to accept that you may need just to say, right, okay, new era, new start, fresh start, that sort of thing. And Earth, so how to act practically, King of Wands. So yeah, you can actually take that advice in that last bit. No, I'm only joking. King of Wands here is to be larger than life, to be mature and open and giving and lead and be confident and just be your beautiful, emotional, passionate self. This person thinks that passion is coming towards them, and they think that you're going to bring it with the King of Wands. There's the Queen of Wands here, and there's Chariot. So to me, this is a person who is hurt but who thinks and likes to relate. You're very emotional, you're very good at reading behind the surface. You can see the patterns in relationships and situations, and this whole relationship, the way that they see it, is definitely a pattern. It's like coming out of one part and moving on, but it's positive, it's new beginnings, it's new starts. You're basically excited because you feel a connection which possibly could even reel back to the past in some way. And then the Eight of Wands, passion, Chariot, passion, movement, forward movement, and victory, Queen of Wands, passion, King of Wands, you, passion. So there's change, there's movement, you're emotional, they like that about you, but you just need to make sure it's not over emotional. And then, that's it. That's it, really. So how to connect with this person is be yourself. Be yourself, accept what's coming towards you. If you want a relationship to move, just be yourself, take the cues, go with it, and keep in mind that this could happen quite quickly, and it could be just based, especially if it is a situation that's ended and you can sense at the moment it's restarting. They may still be hurt about this, but they're prepared. I think it's a clean slate to me, this. There's not like holding on to past hurts. Okay, I'm going to finish there, pile number 3. I hope that makes sense to you in some way. And sorry for the disturbance with the dog having away. And please join me again if it does make sense. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you again. Bye.